Hi, this is Clay Staires with the Leadership Initiative. We are continuing our series here with winning in the workplace. We're at the leadership level here, all the way up at the top of the pyramid, talking once again about the two primary roles at the leadership level. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, even if you're kind of at the top of the pyramid in your department, when you begin to take a look at your leadership responsibilities, not just your management, not just your team builder, not just your worker responsibilities, but actually the leadership roles that you have, there's two primary things. Number one is vision, having the path, having the plan, having the forward future, all right, lined out, communicating that vision. And then number two, protecting and developing the culture. So what we're going to be talking a little bit today are 5 different steps to help you ensure that your culture is, what's the word, maybe that is conducive, that your culture is attractive to workers, that'll keep them with you for long periods of time. Again, it's one of these things where we're going to be talking about 5 different steps. 3 of them are things that everyone does, but the other 2 can be very unique to you. Guys, I've used these each 5 of these steps over the last, that's probably the last 20 years, as I've been working with multiple different employees, all different ages, anywhere from 16 years old all the way up to 60 years old. And I found that if you implement each of these 5 different aspects into your culture, if you provide them for your employees, if you create this environment that has these 5 different aspects, it'll go a long way in helping you not only attract the right workers, but it'll help you keep the right workers. So looking forward to diving into, once again, these 5 different moves here, power moves, super moves, if you want. But these are the 5 different moves that I have found have been so effective in helping me as a leader to create a culture that attracts and maintains just quality workers, A-team level workers. This came from a conversation that I had with, I think it was at that point, the guy was like 24 years old. It was just coming out of college, and he was looking for his next step into a job. And we met together and we had breakfast. And he's going, Clay, what are some things that I should be looking for in a job? And it was hilarious because as we were talking there, these things just started coming off of my head. And I was going, hey, you should write these down so you can tell me what the heck I'm saying here, because I felt like these are pretty good. So I ended up with those 5 pieces for him, and then actually used those 5 different pieces when I did my next speaking event. And that actually led to an entire workshop package that I began to do for different colleges as I traveled across the country, talking with college students that were getting ready to graduate, saying, okay, there are 5 things you need to look for in a workplace position, 5 things that you need to look for when you go out approaching a job. So now on the other side, as a leader, what are those 5 things that you want to begin to provide for your workers? Once again, the first 3 are going to be pretty common. First 3 are something that probably everyone is going to do at some level. But the next 2 are the secret sauce. The next 2 are really the ones that will set you apart. So here we go. Let's dive into these, okay? First of all, number 1, the first factor, the first power move that you want to be sure to provide for each of your employees. We'll say power moves for culture. Power moves for culture. Interesting too, because I just got through last week having another conversation with another one of my employees in these very areas. So here we go. Number 1 is you want to make sure that you provide for each of your employees skill development. This is intentional, okay? This is intentional training, an intentional path of development. It's not just, oh yeah, you'll learn skills, but we have a very specific set of skills. that we have identified that you will be learning. We have a very specific set of skills that we will be training you in. So we've got training that will be very important. It's got to be specific. It can't be, oh yeah, you'll learn this and you'll learn that. I mean, it's got to be very specific. Because again, most people entering into your workforce are in this wonderful world of just being very vague. But man, when you as a leader begin to communicate very specifically, it will help you in the invitation, but also when you are able to communicate clearly these very specific set of skills that you will be training, it will go such a long way in helping you actually ignite interest and ignite loyalty, ignite faithfulness in your company. So these are not only the hard skills, okay, the skills that people need to get the job, all right? They have the computer skills, they have the sales skills, they have the very specific things that they can do, they can draw or something like that, okay, the hard skills. But it's also the soft skills, like learning how to communicate, learning how to build a team, learning how to lead, learning how to problem solve, all those soft skills that unfortunately can really frustrate us. We hire people so often because they have the hard skill. We look at their resume and we go, oh, look, you've done this. You've got the degree, you've got the talent, you've got the history of doing this type of work. We bring them into our company and we find, oh my gosh, you don't know how to communicate. You don't know, I remember a long time ago, I think I was probably in second or third grade, maybe fourth, right in there, but very young. I remember my report card I got from Mrs. Grimes. Clay doesn't play well with others, okay? It's one of those things where you have those employees that just don't play well with others, okay? A little controlling. So these are, just want to encourage you as a leader to begin to, and this can be different. Remember when we looked in our last session at each of the different boxes on the organizational chart? These hard and soft skills can begin to be different in each one of the boxes. So in a particular box that you're hiring for, what are the very specific hard skills and what are the soft skills that you are deliberately and intentionally going to train and teach this person as they come into your company? These are very important for you to identify. And then actually have a schedule of when that training is going to go on and actually be able to point back to each of these hard skills and each of these soft skills, being able to evaluate along the way so the person actually sees, wow, I really am growing in these skills. Okay, so again, very important. Step number one, there has to be intentional skill development. And again, I find it over and over and over again where business owners, small business owners or large business, whether you have one employee or whether you have 100 or more employees, where you're in this spot where you hire people and the skill development is just kind of understood. It's just kind of, yeah, you're going to be doing that a lot, so obviously you'll learn how to do it. Just want you to know that you need to be more specific when you want to step into these power moves for actually securing your culture, okay? That will attract the very best A players and allow you to retain, okay? We want to be able to recruit and retain. So let's move to step number 2, power move number 2. Again, this is very common, all right? You're going to see this a lot. Step number 2, we're probably going to see a lot as well, but this is something that I think, let's see, learn how to spell here. Marketplace positioning. And I think this may be very common, but I don't know if it's identified. I don't know if it's actually communicated to workers. But this is something that in the companies that I own, when we bring people in, this is something that we want to make sure is in our cultural language, that we communicate with each of our employees. Marketplace positioning. This is simply positioning, okay? This is me as a business owner helping this employee to position themselves to be hireable at the next level. It's helping them prepare for the next level. You guys, there's going to be very few employees that I hire that I plan on them being with me from now on. For the most part, I'm looking at the employees that I'm hiring and I know that I'm going to have them for a season. That season may be a year, it may be 3 years, it may be 5 years. But I'm not thinking that it's going to be 20 years. They're going to be with me as long as I'm here. There's going to be very few people that actually stick with you that long. So what I want to do to attract A players to me and then be able to retain those A players is along the way, I want to do everything I can in my language to them and in my training and in my preparation of them to prepare them for their future. Prepare for future. To help them expand their skill so that they are able to be more marketable at the next level. If they just come in and work for me, again, unfortunately, this I think is where most businesses are. You come in, you work for me, you do the job, you do the job, you do the job, and then eventually you get sick of the job and you leave, and you really leave with not much more than what you actually came with, other than a few more months of doing that type of activity.